comedies don't tend to be some of my favorite movies because it's a case of, well, you know all the jokes, right? And you don't just want to keep hearing the same joke over and over again for the rest of your life. Or do you? I don't. But this movie, The Naked Gun, from the Files of Police Squad, 1988, this is one of those movies that I'm talking about. I hadn't seen this in about 20 years, and I went back and I watched it, and yeah, a lot of the jokes don't hold up in this. I mean, don't get me wrong, Leslie Nielsen is funny in this, but it's a different kind of funny than he was previous to this. Now, you remember Airplane, 1980. You never once saw Leslie Nielsen, even though he had a limited role in that movie, you never once saw Leslie Nielsen make a goofy face or anything like that, or if he did, it was very brief and not memorable. Although there's tons of slapstick humor in that movie, that wasn't really his thing. He was the deadpan guy, and that's why he was funny, is because he was delivering these ridiculous lines in the most serious manner, and that was funny. And then Leslie Nielsen was featured on Police Squad, the TV series, which only ran for like 6 episodes, but was fantastic. He was the main character in there. Yeah, he got a little goofier, maybe, but the jokes were bang on. They were just like in Airplane, I found. This one, however, Naked Gun, the jokes are a bit different. I mean, they use some of the classic jokes from Police Squad, the show. There's the bribery scene where, Frank Drebin walking the beat and he has to speak to an informant and he's like passing him cash and everything like that. And there's a little twist on it, and it is kind of, that's a trope from the show. Then there's the, when he goes to see the guy in the lab, like the Police Squad equivalent of like Q from the James Bond movies. There's like the guy in the crime lab that has like devices for him and stuff, because now he's like a spy or something. Anyway, every time they go see the guy in the crime lab, there's like the one door that the one guy walks through and the other guy just walks around the wall. It's like there's this wall there for no reason, and there's a door in it. And the one guy uses the door all the time, the other guy just walks around the wall. And it was in every show. I always thought that was a funny gag. It was a cool little callback there. And then, of course, there's the gag with the flashing police light and the siren going off, and it's traveling all over the place. And I always get a kick out of that gag. It feels like Police Squad in some way, but it's like they had to stretch out one episode and stretch it out really long and pad it with all kinds of jokes and stuff like that. And it has a different kind of pace. It doesn't have the same pacing as something like Airplane, where it's like you can't get away from the jokes. There's every 2 seconds there's a joke. In this one, there's a little bit more setup, and then there's like they fill it with jokes that just aren't funny. Like, I don't know, a lot of it is just really dumb. Oh, let's not forget, O.J. Simpson is in this movie. It was his first of 3 Naked Gun movies that he did, actually. He doesn't have that big a part in this one. He plays Nordberg, who on the show was a different guy, different actor. He has like a little comedy scene comedy action scene in the beginning, and he gets injured. There's an attempt on his life and he almost dies. Then he's like basically like in a coma or like paralyzed or laid up in the hospital anyway. But yeah, he's not really even in it that much, and all he does is get hurt in all of it. So hey, I can laugh at O.J. Simpson getting hurt. Isn't that fair? Priscilla Presley in this movie, I didn't care for her. Yes, she's very pretty and everything, but her character was just ridiculous, and it's a ridiculous movie. Okay, I know that. She's just not made for comedy, I don't think. Leslie Nielsen, though, now he's more of a goofball. He's kind of in the Austin Powers humor category. It's starting to get to that. Not the same. I just didn't get the same vibe out of this movie as I did when I saw Airplane or Police Squad on television. Overall, though, I guess it's pretty funny. But I didn't laugh as much as I thought I was going to. going into this. There are some notable scenes, though. One notable scene is when Frank Drebin, Leslie Nielsen's character, goes to visit Ricardo Montalban, whose name is something. Anyway, he's like this rich, powerful guy. He goes to meet him, and he somehow manages to stab a fish with a pen or something, and the fish is biting him. He sticks his hand in an aquarium, and the fish is biting him, and he's trying to hide it from Ricardo Montalban, and then he ends up stabbing him with a super expensive pen, this super expensive fish, and it's flopping around on the end, and he's got it on his nose and stuff. And again, you know, the fake animal humor, and it's a dumbass comedy. Yes, I know. The baseball scene, that whole like third act of the movie, didn't care for that. I mean, a lot of the jokes rely heavily on you being a baseball fan. And I'm not American, and I'm not a fan of baseball at all. So a lot of it just, yeah, well, I guess it's funny. I did like Reggie Jackson, just because he had the one iconic line. They're trying to mind control him. He's on the field playing baseball, and they mind control him to assassinate the Queen. And he just walks like a robot. I must kill the Queen. And there's just his delivery of the line is just so funny. I must kill the Queen. I don't know why that joke just got me. It was just anyway, yeah, all the baseball stuff's kind of dumb, and the romance between Leslie Nielsen and Priscilla Presley is stupid. And yes, of course it's meant to be stupid, but it's stupid in ways that it shouldn't be, you know. She's just like she's a robot in this entire movie. No disrespect to Leslie Nielsen. I mean, you know, may he rest in peace. I was entertained by him lots, but Naked Gun, just not, I don't know, just not one of my favorite works of his. It was funny enough. You can kill a couple of hours watching this and maybe get a few chuckles out of it. But only if you have a time machine and you go back to the 80s where you actually get all the jokes and stuff. And, I mean, there's a lot of contemporary late 80s humor in this, and some of it just falls flat because here we are like 30 plus years later. So, whatever, man. And I guess if I had to give it like a letter grade, I would say maybe a B minus, maybe a C plus, because it's there and it does its job. It's a passing grade. So that's all, folks. May the force be with you. Keep on trucking. I really got to think of an outro. I'm working on that too.